Good morning, KSCS.
No, if you're going to stay, you're going to stay in the bed now. I ain't going to tell you can't get in the bed.
KSCS.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Dozy. How you?
Deacon Paul Brown from the Mount Ryland Baptist Church in Flower Mound. Who are you talking to there, Deacon?
Back in there. I'm sorry, Mr. Dozy. I'm preoccupied.
You're what?
I'm preoccupied.
Who are you talking to?
My man, child, Mr. Dozy, he is about to drive me up a wall today.
Cleo, what's he doing home from school?
I'm home, you can tell,
Yeah.
when I'm usually off at the workplace. He's saying now, Mr. Dozy, that he got the flu.
Oh. Okay.
Well, I know some of his tricks, though. Bernice goes in and she got the muddly instincts, and she holds his head, and she says, "Oh, he's hot, honey, he's hot." Well, I know what he did. He went and got a washcloth and ran it under the hot water and put it off on his head. And then he takes the barometer and rubs on it through the sheets real hard and gets it hot and puts it back in his mouth. I know your tricks now. Get in bed. He ain't right, Mr.
Well, maybe he is sick, Deacon.
Well, no, Mr. Does. What I tell you, when he's sick, we punished him from watching the TV for a week.
Oh, you did?
Well, he got a bad grade on his report card.
Yeah.
You can't do that and be successful.
No, you can't be successful.
I bet Hawkeye didn't make no bad grades.
I made all good grades, Deacon.
Well, you made a bad grade and bad decision going up against them gladiators, but I ain't want to talk to you about that no more. I done chewed that fat.
Gladiators.
Anyway, I wanted to tell you why Cleopas is really mad, because once a week on my favorite station, the
Nickelodeon, right?
comes on a lovely family show, and Bernice and Cleopas and I watch it, but he didn't get to watch it.
What was it?
Well, it was a show which Mr. Hawkeye ought to watch an episode of before he goes in that ring of torture with him gladiators. It's a lovely show with Mr. Valboxby, and it's called The Incredible Hook.
Incredible Hulk.
Oh, my goodness.
What is it?
The Incredible Hook.
Okay, all
He's
right.
the hook of a man. And it ain't that big old Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's that Mr. Lou Frockno. And Mr. Frockno is a big man. Let me tell you, Mr. Doug.
Frigno, isn't
Well, it has some good scriptures behind it.
it? The Hulk does?
Oh, yes, sir. You
Okay.
got to look for these things in the Nickelodeon, Mr. Dozy. It's a good show.
Okay, all right.
These are wholesome shows. Anyway, well, you know, the Bible says turn the other cheek,
Uh-huh.
and the Lord will take care of revenge.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you, he blessed that man with plenty of revenge. Because, Mr. Dozy, I remember the last episode last night when these two men was robbing a little girl in an alley,
Yeah.
and they pushed that little girl down and scratched her knees.
Yeah.
And they slapped him, and he said once, "Please don't hit me again. You do not know what had happened to me." And they hit him again, Mr. Dozy. That was mistake number 2.
Yeah.
Well, when they hit him, he went off green, literally like green with fury. And he fell down behind some cans, and the next thing he pops out, Mr. Dozy, his nose starts spreading. They fix him. They let me tell you, they switched that Mr. Bell off with that Frockno so fast you don't see him doing it. And let me see, his
He was
clothes-
probably waiting behind the cans, don't you think?
Oh, well, I think he might be. He drops behind a trapdoor or something.
Uh-huh.
And Mr. Frockno pops out. Well, you can tell the difference in their bodies. Anyway, muscles pop out all over that man. Even his nose spread across his face. And the next thing you know, he stand up and he does that ferocious thing. That big old... And Mr. Dozy, people spread out left and right.
I can imagine.
You would think Godzilla was loose.
Who?
Gorilla.
Oh,
He's a famous Oriental person. Anyway, so he picks them up and he's throwing them all over the place, hitting
Yeah.
trash cans. And then the man is so sad because he do it and he can't help himself, Mr. Dozy. And the next thing you see, he's running off in the woods somewhere, half naked, cold, and hungry. And he's rummaging around out there. But the lesson, what it is you can't keep pushing people so far.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and you
that's
just
true.
can't. And then the saddest part is at the end of the show, you see that poor Mr. Boxer back to himself, walking across the country with his thumb out looking for a ride.
Yep. So I guess there is a message in there somewhere.
Well, it is, Mr. Dozy, somewhere. You know, but you got to look at them Nickelodeon for it.
Yeah, well, you've become the expert on the Nickelodeon, and just what, you pretty well sum up Nickelodeon when you compare it the
To
way
the M.E. Moses, Mr. Dozy. Like I tell Bernice, if you can't get it at the Moses fighting time, it don't need to be.
Deacon, have a good weekend.
God bless you. Cleophas, get out of that bathroom, youngster.
KSCS.
Bye.